Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nate the Effing Great, and this is indeed the first of the 12 days of booking series that has taken place all month long, all December long. And before we get into the show, I thought I would play the official theme song for this series, 12 Days of Christmas by Relent K. This will be the only time that you'll probably hear the entirety of the song, maybe on the last episode as well. But it's just a great song, and I think it's the best way to get into the holly jolly season. And also, I really love it. It's very upbeat, it's very rock and rollish. But you know what? Let's just get right to it. After I do the song, we'll get right into the first day of the 12 days of booking. So guys, thank you so much for joining me here, and enjoy the show.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to a partridge in a pear tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. On the fifth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. What's a partridge and what's a pear tree? Well, I don't know, so please don't ask me. But I can bet those are terrible gifts to get. On the sixth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 6 geese a laying, 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. On the seventh day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying, 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. On the eighth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 8 maids of milk and 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying, 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. On the ninth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 9 ladies dancing, 8 maids of milk and 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying. Ooh-wee, ooh-ah. 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. What's a partridge and what's a pear tree? Well, I don't know, so please don't ask me. But I can bet those are terrible gifts to get. On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 10 lords a leaping, 9 ladies dancing, 8 maids of milk and 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying. 4, 3 French, 2 doves and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 11 pipers piping, 10 lords a leaping, 9 ladies dancing, 8 maids of milk and 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying, 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. On the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 drummers drumming, 9 ladies dancing, 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear
Man, I gotta tell you, when I first heard that song, I just absolutely was mind blown at how good that was and how fun it was. But again, guys, this is indeed the first day of the 12 days of booking. Let's just not waste that much time, get into it. This first recording by a good friend of mine, Mr. Jesse Reinhardt, who in the comment section below, I basically had everybody give a request on who they would like to see me do a fantasy booking for WrestleMania or a storyline that they would like to see. And his comment was Sasha Banks pulls a Marty Jannetty Michaels on Bayley. So basically, he wants me to do a Bayley versus Sasha Banks storyline going into WrestleMania. And in all honesty, you guys, Jesse wasn't the only one that made this kind of request, because I do believe that there was, right here, Mr. Nathan Gust had this request, and I quote, boobs. Gripping, just very gripping. Thank you very much, Mr. Nathan Gust, Mr. Rage. Love hearing from you. So, alright. How are we going to book Sasha Banks versus Bayley? Well, honestly, I'm going to do my best at this. WWE, please, for the love of God, try and do it better. Alright, so, whenever I do these bookings, I'm actually going to start at the Royal Rumble. Now, there's been a lot of rumors and a lot of exclamations about the possibility of a women's Royal Rumble matchup. And it is all but confirmed that that is indeed what is going to happen. So, we are going to start with that, with the Women's Royal Rumble matchup. And who will be one of the first few people to start? Sasha Banks. Have Sasha Banks start, and she will be the Iron Maiden in this matchup. She will start at the beginning, and she will make it all the way to the final four, you guys. Bayley will enter in maybe in like the second to last, if not the last, if they wanted to really try and amp things up. Maybe they're going to try and call up Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. Maybe they'll have them come in later and have Bayley come in earlier, something like that. But anyway, so the final four of the Women's Royal Rumble is Asuka, Sasha, Bayley, and Alicia Fox. Alicia Fox gets eliminated by Sasha Banks, maybe by a little bit of skin in the cat, but basically Sasha Banks is on the outside. She's been over the top. She eliminated Alicia Fox, but she's still in the matchup. She's getting her grip. She's getting ready to get back in. Bayley is going for her Bayley to belly on Asuka. Asuka counters Sasha Banks. Sasha is thrown out. She is eliminated. Bayley is in shock. She's basically saying, I'm sorry. Asuka throws Bayley over. Asuka is your winner of the Royal Rumble. Because in all honesty, that's just the way it's going to go. I guarantee you that is probably what is going to happen. The following night, on Monday Night Raw, Bayley basically apologizes to Sasha, just saying, like, I'm sorry that happened. I can't believe you know what happened. And Sasha just says, look, it was every woman for herself. If it was the same thing, I would have probably done the same thing to you. It's okay. It's okay. So Bayley gets ready for her match with Sasha and Mickey, and as she's leaving, Sasha does show a little hint of anger towards Bayley because that was her opportunity to go to WrestleMania. Matchup itself, we see Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Mickey taking on the team of Paige, Mandy, and Sonya Deville. In the end, though, Paige, Mandy, and Sonya pick up the victory, and they take James, they take out Bayley. Sasha Banks is at the mercy of the three women, beating them down and just wrecking them. Bayley is just, she's out. Mickie James is maybe tied up in the ropes or something like that. She can't do anything. Sasha's just decimated. Following week, we see Sasha Banks and Bayley get a rematch against Paige and Mandy. And there's a reason why instead of having Paige and Sonya, and I'll explain. So during the matchup, Bayley is getting ready to hit Mandy with the Bayley to belly, but unfortunately Mandy was able to get her arms up, so when Bayley locks in her arms around her, Mandy actually does a rake of the eyes on Bayley. Bayley is just blinded. She can't see. She's in a corner, basically trying to get her vision back in order. Excuse me. Sasha Banks takes out Mandy, and then she goes over to Bayley. She doesn't say a word. She doesn't say a word. She touches Bayley on the shoulder, and Bayley grabs Sasha, hits the Bayley to belly on Sasha Banks, and Paige throws Bayley out, and Paige pins Sasha for the victory. And after this matchup is over, we see Sasha Banks just really frustrated. She's just thinking, what is going on? What the heck just happened? Bayley finally gets her vision back, and she sees the replay. She goes up to Sasha. She's basically trying to comfort her, but Sasha just pushes her away, saying, don't talk to me, don't touch me, don't don't even try. We see Bayley come out the following week, and she calls out Sasha. Sasha comes out, and Bayley says, look, we are friends, and I don't want things to really just, end like this. I am sorry. You are truly somebody that I look up to, and you are just, she really just compliments Sasha Banks. So you can definitely see the emotion go on Sasha's face from just angry to just feeling a little bit guilty because she's making Bayley feel all these emotions. And Bayley ends it by sticking out her hand as a sign of respect to, basically end the apology. And Sasha Banks, she, lightly brushes the hand away, gives Bayley a hug. They hug in the ring, and Bayley and Sasha seemingly are on good page. Bayley turns her back. Wham! Sasha Banks turns her back on Bayley and beats her down. And then we see Sasha Banks lock in the bank statement, and Bayley is just crying out. She's tapping out. And here's the thing about this, though. Sasha Banks actually starts just cranking and torquing Bayley. You can actually see her body just really getting wrecked. And she's almost looking like a human pretzel. It just looks like you're basically trying to bend like a piece of metal. That's how much pressure she's applying to Bayley. And then she reaches a point. She just cranks hard. Bayley just screams out. She's holding her back. Sasha let goes, and she just looks on at the beauty that she calls it of what she's done. The refs are coming out. Doctors and paramedics are coming out. They're checking on Bayley. The crowd is definitely stunned. They are in shock. Definitely show highlights of maybe kids just really being devastated. They're getting emotional. Adults just looking on like, what did we just see? Why did this happen? Why did Sasha Banks turn her back on Bayley? Why is she doing this? So the following week, we see Sasha Banks coming out, and it's a completely different Sasha Banks. She basically dyes her hair from the magnificent bright purple back to the kind of brunettes with very little darkish purple highlights. Her attire looks a lot darker. I wouldn't go as far as to say that she comes out in a suit, but she definitely doesn't look like that high peppy kind of girl that she is right now. No, she's definitely got a darker persona, and that's one of the things I think WWE really struggles with, is that if you're going to have somebody go from face to heel, faces are obviously more bright and colorful, and they're kind of there to make everybody happy and make things really good, and heels have the more darker tone to them. So obviously when you're changing Sasha Banks, you're definitely showing that she's got a new look, but she's definitely got a different attitude about her. And we're basically doing a bit of a backtrack to when she was the legitimate boss back in NXT, where she comes out and she says, the reason why we had Bayley in the Four Horsewomen was because we felt sorry for her. We knew that her career was never going to take off if she wouldn't have joined up with us, so we created the Four Horsewomen. And what ended up happening was that I ended up being the babysitter. I basically had to cover Bayley's back. I basically had to be the one to take all of her, bumps and bruises. Just basically she makes it seem like she deserves so much better than to be Bayley's best friend. This draws out Mickie James, who comes out and says, I've been in this business for a long time. I have not seen somebody put a beating like you did to Bayley. And that is not a compliment. You could have ended her career by doing what you did. And Sasha Banks just laughs it off. She's like, good. I'm hoping that I ended her career. If you don't watch yourself, I'll end yours next. So this sets up Mickie James versus Sasha Banks for the Elimination Chamber that Sunday. Now, the reason why we're making this matchup is because, A, it's a matchup that, in my recent knowledge, I don't remember even seeing them going one-on-one. So why not actually have it? Why don't we have, a veteran like Mickie James taking on a younger talent in Sasha Banks? It would be absolutely amazing. So at the event, we see Sasha and Mickie. Classic. I would definitely put this on the card, even though some people are saying, well, there's very little build in there. Well, in all honesty, there is build. Because this could have been Sasha Banks versus Bayley, but because Mickie James feels like she's kind of representing, all of the women who have been underutilized, who have been taken for granted. She's basically trying to step up for them. So Mickie James does her best, but in the end, Sasha Banks locks in the bank statement, and Mickie James has no choice but to tap out. But then, after the match is over, Sasha Banks goes to do the same thing that she did to Bayley on Mickie, but Mickie is able to get out of the ring and save herself. Of course, Sasha Banks is just like, well, I guess I'll have to get you again sooner than later. Following night, we see a rematch between Sasha and Mickie. Sasha wins again, but this time, when she locks in the bank statement, she does not let go. She actually does what she does to Bayley. She cranks and she cranks and she cranks, and then she basically does this deal where she kind of eases forward and then cranks even harder, where it looks like she busts the back or breaks the back of her opponent. That's what she does to Mickie James. Mickie James is also carried out on a gurney. She's carried out on a stretcher. She looks like her career could be over as well. And this will also set up a future storyline for Mickie James and Sasha Banks, maybe. The following week, we see Bayley basically having an update. People are asking questions about, how she's doing, how her recovery is, and basically we're going to have it so that Bayley says, I'm lucky that I have such, strong bones in my body. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be able to say that, I could still wrestle and my career would be over. And that she was definitely looking forward to getting back on the road again. And this time she is going to definitely take, Sasha Banks out faster than she did to her. Of course, Sasha just saying, yeah, right, like you're going to do anything to me. Sasha Banks gets involved in a wrestling match with, let's just say, Alicia Fox, another pretty good baby. She's about to do the same thing to Alicia that she's done to Mickie and Bayley. She starts locking in, she starts cranking, but then that's when we hear Bayley's music hits. She comes out, she makes the save, Sasha Banks gets out of there before Bayley can even try to get her hands on her, and Bayley makes the challenge. She says, I don't want to face Sasha Banks, my friend. I want to face Sasha Banks, the legit boss, at WrestleMania. Next week, Sasha Banks actually declines it. I know it seems kind of weird to have, the answer a week later, but it's one of those things where Sasha Banks has this new attitude where she says, I'm not going to do things on everybody else's time. I'm doing things on my time. I will answer it whenever I choose to. Following week, we see actually Sasha Banks come back and she says the reason why I declined it was because I don't accept challenges. I am the one who makes the challenges. So if you want to fight against me at WrestleMania, then I'm going to be the one that challenges you. I want to fight you at WrestleMania, but I want to face you in 3 stages of hell. Bayley has no problem accepting it. And basically what the 3 stages of hell match will be the first fall will be a regular wrestling matchup, the second fall will be no holds barred, and then the third fall will be a steel cage matchup, just to make things just very interesting. So we then have the final build-up to WrestleMania, which will be a tag team matchup pitting Sasha and Alexa Bliss, the Raw Women's Champion, against Bayley and Asuka. That's right, Asuka has decided to stay on Raw and challenge Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. Bayley hits the Bayley to belly on Alexa Bliss, giving their team the victory, and just looks down at Sasha. As Sasha gets up the ramp, she just wants nothing to do with Bayley whatsoever. And we are here, we are at WrestleMania, 3 stages of hell, the first time ever. You look at so many things that Sasha and Bayley have done. It seems fitting that for a match to get this 3 stages of hell would be the perfect match to put on for these 2 women. They've already done the Iron Maiden matchup that they did at NXT TakeOver, NXT Respect. They had a great matchup at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Just really make it, again, something very special. Sasha Banks has been in the first Hell in the Cell matchup, the first, I believe, Women's Falls Count Anywhere matchup for the women's title. Just really make it that special. That's how you do it. As far as entrances go, Sasha Banks, I really do not see her coming out any other way than what she did at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, where she came out in, the sports utility vehicle, the vans. She has like her own gang there. They escort her out to the ring. She's just looking absolutely fabulous. And she just looks like, a legit boss. And for Bayley, well, I mean, she could probably have one of her, flailing, waving, inflatable arms men, fly her into the air, and then she has one of those, parachute suits where she's just gliding down, something like that. I don't know when it comes to Bayley, okay? I just don't know. So the matchup starts off, we see Sasha Banks and Bayley just go at each other like absolutely crazy. Bayley goes for the Bayley to belly, but Sasha Banks gets out of the way. Sasha Banks goes for the bank statement early. Bayley gets out of it, and match continues on. It gets physical. Bayley hits a Bayley to belly on Sasha on the outside, but she gets back into the ring to stop the 10 count, and then she rolls back out. Sasha's already crawling towards the timekeeper, and she grabs a steel chair, hits Bayley in the ribs with that chair. Referee calls for the bell. First fall goes to Bayley. Sasha Banks then starts the no-holds-barred deal by just beating down on Bayley. She beats down on her ribs, and then she gets her back in the ring. Then she grabs a steel chair, and she just manhandles Bayley. She takes the chair and just goes bam, 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 just cracking over Bayley's injured back, and just continuing, just making it just look like an absolute brutal gang warfare deal, where she is just destroying Bayley's back like she would want to. Then she grabs Bayley, locks her into the bank statement, and before you know it, Bayley seems like she's going to tap. She makes it to the ropes, but Sasha Banks pushes off the ropes, locks it in again, and unfortunately, Bayley, passes out from the submission. So Sasha Banks gets the second fall. And then we have the steel cage match. As soon as the steel cage lowers, referees are checking out on Bayley, who is just slowly coming to. And Sasha Banks is ready to go. Bell sounds. Sasha Banks, knees to the back again of Bayley. And she thinks that she's already climbing the cage. Bayley finds a way to fight back and just try her best to beat down on Sasha Banks. We see Bayley hit the Bayley to belly on Sasha for the 1-2. Sasha kicks out. Sasha Banks hits her Muddy Maker neck breaker. 1-2. Bayley kicks out. Bayley hits a top rope Bayley to belly suplex. Unfortunately, though, her back gives out after she lands. She's not able to get to the cover right away. After about, I'd say, 15 seconds, she finally gets the cover to Sasha. 1-2. Sasha still kicks out. These women are just absolutely leaving it all on the line. In the end, though, we see Sasha Banks and Bayley. They are fighting on top of the cage. Sasha Banks, though, she rakes the eyes of Bayley. Seems like she pushes her off, but Bayley's leg gets hooked on the top of the cage. Bayley's just kind of dangling there. Sasha Banks is able to basically get to the outside of the cage, but then she looks at Bayley, and then she looks down at the ground. She looks back at Bayley, and she says, no, that's not how I'm winning. Sasha Banks comes back in. She grabs Bayley from the top of that cage, and she hits a massive neck breaker. I know that seems like a risky spot, but I think that with Bayley and Sasha, they can definitely pull that off. Then finally we see Sasha Banks hit a second bank statement. Bayley tries to get out of it. She grabs the rope. Sasha again locks it in, and she actually even does the deal where she cranks it so hard that it seems like she breaks her back. Bayley just slowly, surely taps out. She is just absolutely injured. She's just destroyed. Sasha Banks gets her victory. And this obviously is going to upset a lot of people because Bayley should look like the conquering hero. Well, here's the thing. One, Bayley had her WrestleMania moment this past year, so it really doesn't make sense to have Bayley win again this year. And two, this definitely makes Sasha more of a major threat when it comes to the women's division. Now, there are two ways that I would actually continue on this storyline past WrestleMania. Now, obviously, the first thing that they could do is that the night after, it's more than likely going to be the start of the shakeup. Have Sasha Banks versus Bayley compete in a last woman standing matchup where Bayley would get the victory, and obviously that would allow Sasha Banks to go over to SmackDown, and she can say, I didn't run away from Bayley. I just knew that I had nothing more to prove to her. I beat her at WrestleMania. So that'll not only, make Sasha still look strong, but Bayley will actually have a big win where she can continue to start building up to a Raw Women's title match in the future. Now, obviously, this could either happen on the Raw, or it could even happen on the Raw event Backlash, where, again, you can have that matchup on there. Same results, like I said, and maybe even give Bayley a little bit more time to recover. But in all honesty, it really doesn't matter because the result will still be the same. Sasha will go to SmackDown, Bayley will go to Raw, and then after that, I would actually have Bayley win the Raw Women's title and have Sasha Banks win the SmackDown Women's title in the forthcoming months, and then have them both hold the titles all the way till Survivor Series, where the two of them can clash again in the Champions versus Champions match at Survivor Series, because in all honesty, it would build up greatly. They would have some great chemistry with each other, and also there's a really good storyline that they can build off there. They can definitely see this is basically them continuing their rivalry that they had explode at WrestleMania. Yes, I know it feels really weird that they're, doing a cool-off deal between Sasha and Bayley, but at the same time, you can't always have, great match after great match. You have to have like a really good matchup and then have a cool-off period, so that way they'll want to see Sasha Banks versus Bayley again. So, that is how I would book Sasha Banks versus Bayley. Did you guys think I did good? Let me know in the comments, and let me know by giving me some thumbs up, showing me a little bit of love. Let me know what you would have done for Sasha versus Bayley. And thank you again to Mr. Jesse for the request. This took a lot of time to really get done, but I think I did a great job of booking it. So let me know what you think of it, man. Of course, you guys, this is only day one. Like I said, we still have 11 more days of booking, fantasy bookings up the wazoo, whether it be for the past, the present, or all the way up into the future, you guys. It's going to be absolutely amazing. The next one that will take place will be this Sunday, you guys. So day 2 is on Sunday. It's going to be awesome. And of course, you guys, if you want to show me some love, give me a follow on Twitter at RealFNGame, and also give me a like on the Facebook fan page, facebook.com/changing up the game. So many more great things that are ahead. I'm actually going to take a small little break. I will actually have the week in wrestling review for this week, talking about Raw, SmackDown, as well as a couple other wrestling deals with some very special guests. So thank you guys so much. And as always, see you in the next one. Just remember that when you think you know all the rules, I change the game. I am Nate the Effing Great, signing off for right now. Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Hustling every day, I'm on my way to that shop like it's my destiny to be bigger, yeah, I got to fight. And now that visions are sitting high on my own gold throne. Never listening criticism, I built my own. From the bottom, I've gotten myself in my own zone. Never stopping, I made it and no, I ain't gone home.
Had a dream, I had a million.
sitting high on my own gold throne. Never listening criticism, I build my